Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. If you're looking for jewelry that makes an impact on your self-care routine and your style, Empowerography would love to offer you a discount code to one of our exclusive partners, Quartz & Canary Jewelry and Wellness Company. Please use code EMPOWER15 to receive 15% off upon checkout at www.quartzandcanary.com. Quartz & Canary is truly the place where spirituality meets style. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Jessic DeLuise. She is a physician assistant, certified culinary medicine specialist, and on-air food and lifestyle expert. How are you doing today, Jessica?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm doing great today. Thank you. And I want to say thank you first off for agreeing to be part of this community and part of my podcast and share a bit of your story and your journey in your life and just being part of the community. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's going to be great.
I think so too. So as alluded to, you are a physician assistant, a certified culinary medicine specialist, a true food lover and food nerd. You're also the host of a cooking show called Eat Your Way to Wellness, which streams on Amazon. You're a lifestyle and wellness expert and hold a master's degree in life science. That's quite the resume for sure. Where on earth do you find all the time to do all of this and wear all these hats and all of these media appearances you make? How do you find the time?
Well, I do drink a lot of coffee, and
coffee is your lifeblood.
Yeah, coffee just definitely courses through my veins. No, I mean, in that's a joke, but in seriousness, I'm passionate about what I do, and I don't ever run out of energy for it. Truthfully, I mean, I run out of energy, of course, for the house chores and all of these other things, but yes, what I do and what I educate about and the people that I meet, they really just recharge me. I mean, every time I put a post out on Instagram and I watch the comments and the questions, it really just, it recharges and reaffirms why I do what I do. And that just enriches my entire life. So I really don't get tired of doing it.
Awesome. So how, when, and why did your journey into health and wellness even begin?
How, when? So I'll start with the when. I was about 16 years old, and at that time, my mom and my dad are very hardworking people. So they said, go get a job after school. So I'm sitting there at a dentist office where I got my first job, and I got this aura of deja vu. And a lot of people don't know this about me. And I'm sitting there and I got this aura of deja vu, and I fell right off the chair and passed out. Wow. And that was the first time where I ever had any health issues. You know, I'd always been a really healthy kid, no hospitalizations. And so that kind of spurred this inquisition into my health and my status and what's going on. And at the time, it was recurrent. You know, it was syncopal episodes, these episodes of deja vu, and I would pass out. And this continued all the way until I was about 22, 23. And about that time is when I started to have really severe reflux. And it would be so terrible that I wouldn't even be able to go out to eat with friends. And I was in PA school. I had just moved to Philadelphia. It would keep me up in the middle of the night throwing up. I mean, it was really terrible. And so I graduated from PA school at 23, and I really sought out some professionals, and I really took action into my own wellness. And I found out that triggers for me for the passing out episodes were, red wine and some sulfites and artificial sweeteners really didn't make me feel great. And I found out the triggers for my reflux. And it was at that point where I took a very proactive approach to my life. And I really understood that, oh my gosh, what I do every day truly changes the way I feel. But it was so funny because it happened after PA school. I got my master's and I learned about treatment and medication and all these things. And then finally, having lived through the patient experience, I recognized, oh my gosh, these things really do matter. And oh my gosh, some practitioners are really not good at educating on it. And so, I had to go through that process myself to really understand it. And so when it came time to start my business and I was doing a little blogging, it was, I was a seasoned PA at that time, about 6 or 7 years into practice. I started recognizing that I wanted to do more and be more involved and take it a step further with people. Mm-hmm. And so that is when I really started my business, which took, it evolved, Brad. Yeah. It really took a lot of different forms over the past few years, but here we are now today. And
I imagine that those experiences and those things that you went through with your own personal struggles also led you to say that, you know what? And as you alluded to, that there's a lot of medical professionals out there who don't quite or shouldn't or don't quite do what they should be doing. And so I'm sure that also embedded into you that you're going to be better and do exactly these things that so many out there are not doing.
Yeah. I mean, I that definitely stuck with me. Even, I still work full time as a physician assistant in allopathic medicine. But even in my allopathic practice or with some clients or friends, I really tried to think about that. I think about, if someone felt rushed out the door, or if someone really yearned for some more recipe ideas, or if they really weren't empowered at the grocery store, how can I give them that information? That not that medication isn't great. I mean, of course it's necessary, but those other points of confusion, how to navigate a food menu, when you go out to eat, those are really practical tips that people were lacking. And so I always try to provide that information when I encounter somebody in any arena of my life.
What is a certified culinary medicine specialist?
Well, it sounds pretty cool, right?
It does. And it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. It is a mouthful. No, it is actually really cool. So I got certified about a year ago.
Okay.
And it's in 2019. And it is a program that Tulane University, which of course is in New Orleans, they spearheaded this program, and it really is for practitioners, so physicians, PAs, and nurse practitioners, to learn more about how to use food in the clinical setting.
Okay.
And so that's for, anyone who's even treating, very commonly high blood pressure. A lot of primary care doctors are treating high blood pressure. And we know, Mediterranean diet. But what we don't know, a lot of primary care providers are treating very commonly high blood pressure. And so they know how to treat it because there's an algorithm with medication, and they know Mediterranean diet and what that looks like. But maybe they don't know how to suggest a recipe idea, or maybe they don't know how to recommend a quick meal prep technique, for working, busy parents or working businessmen and women. So really what it did was it took all of the knowledge that we had at practitioners and put it into these really feasible, practical tips and educational classes that we can then give to our patients. And I loved it because, of course, I love food. I found it to be a way to empower myself 3 times a day, and really take control of my health in that way.
Right.
But I loved it so much because I really don't think that going through PA school or medical school now that we're getting enough of that. I don't think that we are up to date with those educational programs. I think we're well behind the general public, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The general public is seeking out that information, and practitioners aren't getting it in their training. So, I strive to be better and be more educated so that I can regurgitate that to people. And that was just part of it. And so Tulane does a really good job. They do a really great job in this program.
What would you say inspires you most about your career?
Who inspires? I thought I was going to answer that a little differently. What inspires me most?
Okay. Or what excites you most? What makes you up the most?
Yeah, I think the excitement thing is what I'm going to hone in on.
Yeah, sure.
It's so important, even if it's your first career or your second career, to want to work. I truly that saying, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
For me, being in wellness care and health care does that. I'm such a scientist. I'm such a nerd. I really love the black and white.
A self-proclaimed nerd.
I really am though,
I
Brad.
love it. You own it. You just own it.
I do. I love to know the why behind things.
Yeah.
And I don't like to read an article and say this happened. For me, it's just my nature to say, but why did that happen? And
right.
And how does an omega-3 fatty acid affect inflammation? And why do antioxidants matter? To me, that science part of food and lifestyle is so important. And what's fortunate for me is science is always changing, right? Yes. Healthcare is always changing. And so it becomes exciting to learn this new, different way of doing things as time moves forward. We are required to do continuing education as practitioners. So for me, I love that part of the job, whereas somebody else might look at it as a chore. I think it's really pretty neat,
Well, I would think that people would love that. I mean, life is all about constantly learning and updating our knowledge and learning new things. I can't understand why anyone wouldn't enjoy that part of it. But I'm sure there are people who are out there that don't and just would rather not and stick with what they know. But you're not, by doing that as well, though, in your field of work, you're also not providing your clients with the best service possible by not doing that.
You're exactly right.
You owe it to them.
Yeah, I agree totally. And to change is to grow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people see change as a burden or as overwhelming and nerve provoking, and it certainly can be.
Yeah.
But we never grow. We never find our true selves. We never live our best lives if we don't change and grow. And so, that's how I look at it. It's all about the perspective of things here.
For sure. Change is absolutely necessary. And yes, sure, it's scary as hell. Of course it is. Because you get into routines and, you get comfortable, but nothing grows inside comfort zones. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You are known as the Wellness Kitchenista. How did you come up with that name?
A lot of trial and error. I really wanted to, and the Wellness Kitchenista is, it's kitschy, it's fun. That's how I like to live my life. I like to be serious and talk about wellness and learn and be that nerd that we just, talked about. But I also, a kitchenista, the true definition is someone who likes to have fun in the kitchen.
There you go.
Who loves themselves, who, thinks it's exciting to splatter some food on the countertop, and who cares? Like it's about not taking life too seriously.
Yeah.
And so when I thought about what my website would be and my social handles, it went through some different iterations. I mean, it evolved, it changed, and just as we were talking about, it was a necessary evil. Mm-hmm. But we finally landed on the Wellness Kitchenista, and I just love it. I can't imagine what else I'd be called. I
do too. I think it's amazing. And I love that attitude of it's got to be fun. I mean, why wouldn't you want to make cooking fun and enjoy what you're doing? And who cares if you make a mess? Clean it up. It doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? It's just like food fights when you're kids, right? Yeah. Have fun. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, this is life. It's life, and you get one of them,
that's right. That is 100% right.
So stop being miserable and make a mess.
Loosen up, people. Right? Loosen up.
Come on, people.
Have a food fight every once in a while. Throw the mashed potatoes around the kitchen. We haven't had a good food fight here in a while. We had one probably about 3 or 4 years ago when our kids lived at home still. We had, it was exactly that. We were all sitting at the table with a bowl of mashed potatoes, and we all someone started by reaching in and grabbing it and started throwing it around the table at each other. And then everyone just jumped in. It's fun. You cannot be too serious. You're right. We only have one shot at this life. Why not enjoy it while you're here? And it's a short time we're here for. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So why not have fun with it?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
How long has Eat Your Way to Wellness, your TV show, been on Amazon?
That launched on Amazon in July of 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so very recent. And this show was the first show that I had ever produced. And part of the changing and that yearning for more that I alluded to a couple of years ago, the show was part of that. And so in 2019, I kind of just made a decision that I wanted to see what happened if I were to start to do more content, and not only on social media, because, it's totally different. It's totally different feel on social media. It's a lot more casual.
Yeah.
But how can I really document wellness and cooking and lifestyle in a show? And how can I involve other people in that, right? Because while I love to learn, I know my limitations. I think that's important as well. And I know that I couldn't have done this alone. It would have taken me months and weeks to write out what some other professionals could share on a program. And so, yeah, so that was really exciting and interesting. We shot a pilot. And then what I did was I brought it to some local television networks here in Philadelphia and ultimately found a network that wanted to air the show. And so we aired in January here on linear TV platforms.
Awesome.
And then we took the content and put it right on Amazon, and it will actually go to a lot of other digital platforms too.
Very cool. So did you have to pitch the whole idea, go through that whole thing of pitching the idea of your show and all of that stuff?
That's a great question. So I didn't know, first of all, I have no connections in this world at all. And I had no idea how television or TV shows work at all. And I'm now just, even having done it, I'm still learning.
Of course.
You can go through TV in one of two ways, I'm sure, main ways. First, you pitch it to a larger network and you create a sizzle reel and a concept and you pitch it. And the thought is they can own it, they can buy it, they can pay for it, they can produce it. The other way to do it is you pitch it to a network, and this is what I did. And I pitched it over and showed them a pilot, but more or less because they want to know that that content aligns with the mission and it's not,
of course,
maybe vulgar or inappropriate. And so I said to them, this is what I want to do. And I actually continued to own the program. So I had 100% control.
Amazing.
I was part of the production process. And so what I did was they just gave me the time slot and I did everything else.
Wow. So you created the pilot, you had the pilot shot and all that, and you took the finished pilot product to them and said, here's my idea. And of course, there's a lot more documentation, a lot more involved, but basically you took that to them and said, hey, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. And they greenlit it. And that's incredible. And how was that learning? As you stated, you love learning. So how was that process of learning that whole thing, that business and production and all of that stuff? Because I love that stuff. I took audiovisual techniques in college, and so I'm from that background, and I love that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that was also, again, I love to learn and I love to read about it, and how I navigated that the first time around. Now there is some discussion about, are we going to do this again? And can we do another full season? And I think that there's enough content, enough people to interview to do it. So we're talking currently with the production team to see, okay, if we do it again, where will it go? Where will we air it? Will it be on the same linear platforms or whatever? What I did with that is I just asked a lot of advice for people. I mean, there are people that study this as you did, and they know this is their craft, right?
Yeah.
And so I asked a lot of advice and got on the phone with a lot of people, even if it was 5 minutes while they were driving to work or to the studio, or, can I buy you a lunch, and just pick your brain a little bit about this, or do you have anybody that you can give me a number for, or an email? I don't even need an endorsement. Just give me a contact. And so I pick their brain. And so that's really how I did it the first time.
That's exciting as hell.
Very helpful people. Yeah. I mean, fortunately, people are always willing to help, and they know that sometimes when you're coming up in a business that they, just as they did, they had some help and people answer questions and guidance. So, I was fortunate.
This speaks to something very common that's been a reoccurrence lately with me in conversations around that fact of asking for help. People are so scared to ask for help. And this popped up, I don't know, so many times in the last couple of weeks. This piece of conversation is like, all you have to do is open your mouth and ask. People are usually, I'm going to say 98% of the time, more than willing to help you out. And let's look at the other side of it. If you ask and they say no, that's the worst thing that can happen, is they say no. Oh, well, okay, move on to someone else. It's not that big of a deal, but people are so scared to open up their mouths and ask. And I guess that comes from fear of rejection or getting the fuck out of our own way. We need that thing too. We do though.
There's the first F-bomb of the whole podcast.
We are very self-limiting. I mean, we put these restrictions on ourselves. We have to learn to get the fuck out of our own way and get out of our own head and just open up your mouth and ask. Don't be too proud to ask for help either. There's no shame in that.
Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think sometimes we are too proud, I think we've all fallen victim to this.
Yeah.
You don't want to, putting yourself in a place of vulnerability,
Yeah.
right? And again, it comes back to the unknown. If I ask, then what? But here's the thing. People are, for the most part, willing to help.
Yes.
And I always preface it with, if you have 5 minutes while you sit on the toilet or while you drive in your car, I would forever be so grateful just to pick your brain. You're not asking them for a handout. You're not asking them for nothing. It's just, whatever. And then I always too, if anyone's listening and they kind of want to know how I did it, I always set a boundary too. Hey, I know you have 5 minutes. I'm going to hop right into it. And I would watch the clock. And at that 5 minute mark, I would say, hey, it's been about 5 minutes or whatever it is. Are you still okay to move forward? And so usually they'll say, yeah, it's fine,
Yeah.
But you always want to be respectful, because that's the thing. And then always send a thank you note. Someone told me that right at the onset of my business is send a thank you email, text, call, flower arrangement. It does not matter.
Yeah.
But always acknowledge that you were appreciative of their valuable time and input. And so that always stuck with me as well.
For sure. People appreciate little things and it only takes something very small just to say, hey, I appreciate what you did for me. But again, I don't know. For me, it's never been about pride. For me, it's fear. I dealt with fear of rejection. Do I want to ask, what if they say no? Mm-hmm. But it took me a while to get out of that mindset and get the hell out of my own head. And you know what? The worst they can say is no. Oh, well, so what? If they say no, that's okay.
Exactly right.
Am I going to be injured or die from that? No. It just means that I move on to the next person or seek someone else out that can help me. That's what it was for me anyways. I mean, pride, I'm not too proud to ask for help.
Yeah, well, I think I was a little bit. I mean, because here's the thing, it's very interesting to, I was a PA, not that I'm the end all be all, I always worked with a physician, but I had some sort of autonomy.
Right.
And, I was experienced and seasoned. And so to almost take a step back and be a beginner in something was a new feeling for me.
Right.
It was unfamiliar because I hadn't been there in so long.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, anyway, I think it's all good. We've talked about it. But yeah, I agree. I think asking for help is huge.
Can you give us a brief overview of what the show is about, like a bird's eye view of the show?
Yeah, I'd love to. So what's interesting is, we throw around this word healthy, healthy this, healthy cooking, healthy. And to me, healthy means something very different for everyone.
Yes.
Whether healthy means for you something that's geared toward your high blood pressure or geared toward your reflux or geared toward your anxiety or geared toward your mental health,
Yeah.
So I think that was important as I set forth to present information. I wanted to do so in a way that made sense to a specific disease process. So I started there and I named 10 really common disease processes. The first one was high blood pressure. The second was anxiety and joint pain, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And what I did was I thought, okay, well, we have to go to the grocery store. We have to get these ingredients. So let's give the viewer a little bit of that. Yeah. So for the gut health episode, for example, I went to a place called the Fishtown Pickle Project, and it was a small artisan pickle producer here in Philadelphia. And so we talked about, all right, pickles, great, right? Probiotics. Mm-hmm. And then in my white coat, I do present a little bit of information about where are other sources of probiotics. And then what I think is important is the second segment in every episode, we get back into the kitchen and say, okay, gut health, probiotics, what does it look like on the plate? Yeah. Here's an example, here's a recipe. And then when we talk about gut health, I sat down with another expert. This is just an example at my kitchen table. And I had an expert who came in and talked about the proper positioning of your body and your habitus and the squatty potty for having a proper bowel movement. So you're not straining and it's more comfortable. So it was really like a travel segment, a kitchen segment, a sit down with an expert segment in every episode, and all pertaining to that disease process.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a 30-minute show. I mean, I could have done each episode like 3 hours. I mean, there's just so much.
That's so much information, right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So it was really neat though. I mean, I got to do a lot of cool things. I meet a lot of educated and empowered people.
I'm sure. That's probably got to be one of the more exciting parts, is all the people you get to meet and information exchange with all these people.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Again, going back to learning, right? Because you're always learning.
Yeah, always.
What would you say that is one of your all-time favorite, personally, your all-time favorite recipes to make and to eat?
Ooh,
give me three. Give me your top three.
Yeah. Okay. So actually what I'm going to make today is a cold peanut noodle.
Okay.
And that is one of my favorite because it has a peanut sauce where it has peanut butter and ginger and garlic and shallot and sesame oil and tahini, and it's just so delicious.
Oh,
and
sounds good.
Oh yeah, so good. And it's a cold peanut noodle, and I like it because it's very potent in flavor, but also it's almost better the next day. So it's great to have leftovers of.
Yeah.
What else? I don't know. I feel like that's top of mind right now. And then, of course, I love anything cold. Like I love to make homemade ice creams and frozen yogurt and whips and things that can be like a little bit fun and whimsical. So I love to do kind of a frozen fruit smoothie whip kind of thing. Those are top of mind.
What would you serve? What would you serve with the noodles? Anything else, or just the noodles?
Oh yeah. So we're gonna make. I have chicken breasts right now in my crock pot with some teriyaki sauce that I made. And the teriyaki, actually one of the episodes on my show on Amazon, I made a pineapple teriyaki. And right now that is in my crock pot. We'll shred it up and that'll be eaten with the noodles, and then I'll do some stir-fried veggies. Awesome.
Do you have the recipes for those on your site?
Yes, I do. Yeah. The wellnesskitchenista.com/recipes. Or if you head right there, you'll find the recipes.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It's all there.
So of all the hats you wear, Jessica, what would you say is your favorite one to put on?
I really am passionate about the media. I loved doing the show, which is why I'm even entertaining doing it again, because there's so much work involved in that. But I love being a chicken mom. We have 9 chickens in our backyard. Man. I love that. It's kind of a get your hands dirty kind of job. And they're so fun to watch, and nature, again, learning and science, nature just has its own nuances, and you get to watch these chickens, and that's pretty fun. And I give them all my food scraps, and they've really become my pets. But I would say the media and chicken mom are my favorites today.
It could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is there a good possibility that this show will be returning for a second season, you think?
There is a good possibility.
Okay, well, that's good.
Right now we are just looking for the right place to put it.
Right.
And the right sponsors and investors for it.
Yeah.
And then there's a very good possibility.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I think that I have a good knack for breaking down things that could be complicated and convoluted into a really easy to understand way. So, explaining something medical or science-based or food-based to somebody in a practical way, like, hey, this is why. And this happens all the time where you say it in a way and you see the light bulb go off. You can actually see their eyes kind of widen, and oh my gosh,
now I get it.
Yeah.
So you have a knack for putting it into layman's terms.
Yes, I think that has been why, on a personal level, my patients and I really have great relationships, because I don't talk above people, and that's not me either. I think that whether it comes to whatever profession you're in, I don't think one is better than the other, and I don't think somebody is better than the other person. I think we're all kind of people, just kind of figuring it out together.
I agree. Well, to me, you seem incredibly down to earth and easygoing and laid back. So I wouldn't even fathom the idea of you thinking you're above someone else. I don't know. I can't understand that mindset, but to each their own.
Yeah, right.
What was a turning point in your life, and how did that affect you?
I think that a turning point in my life, which actually prompted me to start my business a couple of years ago, was my husband and I bought a house. And, it's funny how these things happen, and really they throw a pivot into your entire life. And I can isolate my life back to one pivot about 5 years ago when we bought our house. And we went through a just horrific experience with a contractor who gutted the house and, left with a big chunk of money and never came back. And we had to hire an attorney. It was a whole big mess. anyway, out of that very negative experience, 8 or 9 months long, and some other things happened in there too, was when I finally said, I want to take control of my life and do something a little different. And I don't know if that was a coping mechanism or what. But, as I sat there in one bedroom, because the rest of our house wasn't inhabitable at all. We were in one bedroom with a mini fridge and 2 cats for 8.5 months. It was horrific. I watched a lot of TV food shows and networks that had cooking shows. And I finally looked at that show and I said, I can do something like that. I can educate. And I would watch and they would say stuff. And it's like, well, I know that, of course. Like, who doesn't, Yeah. And it was that moment where I just sat there and watched these shows. And that's when I really put into action what I had been feeling, that kind of unrest inside.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, was a pivotal part of my life, was that experience.
Okay. What's something people seem to misunderstand about you?
I am a very,
He laughs.
I'm a very curt person, and this happens a lot. I grew up in New York, and I'm very matter of fact. It's just, I don't apologize for it. I'm not rude, but I just am very matter of fact.
Okay.
And so I think sometimes you either love that or you hate that. And not that I don't, I'm obtuse or dense or, I don't ridicule people, but sometimes I'll just say, no, that's not correct. Or, I'm very matter of fact. I come off sometimes a little cold, I think, if you don't really get to know me. And so that's been something I've struggled with my whole life. But that's not my way. In fact, I'm very warm and I'm very friendly. It just, sometimes I'm just curt. It's just what it is.
That's just part of your DNA.
Yeah.
But you're not that way. So once people get the chance to know you, they see that you're not that way.
Yes, exactly.
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
Yeah, I would say, and I just said this to somebody, I think when I was doing the show, that really I felt I was living the best version of myself. I felt prepared. I felt organized. I had my hair and makeup done, and sometimes putting on I know this sounds odd, but doing your hair, doing your makeup, putting on a nice outfit, it can really just take your confidence level up to the next
notch. For sure. Absolutely.
In a not in a vain way, and just hey, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. Here's what I have to say, kind of way. And so I think that was a really awesome part of my life, is that I came in, we had a team, we were all working to this common goal. And it was a mission and a passion of mine. And I loved every day of that experience.
It's an amazing feeling when you absolutely love what you're doing and you're so involved in it. And you can't really put it into words.
Yeah. And there's something so gratifying about, working on something and then seeing a finished product.
That's right. Yeah. When you see that end product, it's like, wow, we created this.
Yeah. There's a very visceral reaction that you have.
For sure.
Your gut. It's a really neat thing.
It is. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
Okay. Don't take a no from someone who never had the ability to give you a yes.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you why. So my mom told me that a long time ago. And I think how she means it is if you want something, get after it.
Yeah.
Don't let someone tell you no. Don't let someone say, no, he doesn't have time. Go after it and go after the big fish. And that always stuck with me, and it really reminded me to just stand up for myself in not an obnoxious way, of course, but in a way to say, no, this is a goal I have and this is what I need to do. And so there might be some obstacles and roadblocks along the way, but that can't deter you from what you're
going to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always heard or been told that no doesn't necessarily mean no forever.
Right.
It could just mean no for that time. It's not the right time.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can revisit it. I've learned to live by that. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after learning it?
Okay. I know, you know what? I saw this question ahead of time. I briefly skimmed these and I still don't know. I still don't know because I really truly feel like I learn something every day.
Yeah.
That affects me in a positive, negative, or lateral way. I mean, I learn something every day. I don't take those moments for granted. So there's nothing that I could say has been so pivotal that I would care to share it.
Okay. That's
sorry.
all right. No, that's totally fine. What would you say is one of your favorite quotes?
Sometimes you're the bird and sometimes you're the statue. You know? I think that there's some humor to that. There's some humor to that.
There is.
But it's true. Listen, kind of going back to like, it is what it is. Sometimes you're going to be on top of the world and sometimes you're going to have days where you're like, this sucks. Everything just sucks today. I'm getting shit on literally and I don't know what to do. And then there are some days where you just fly on by, and that's just, again, you have to remember those things. I think sometimes we get in our way, we get in our own headspace, and then we're so worried and anxious about what could or should or hasn't happened yet that we just don't do, what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I love that quote.
Thank you.
I have to store that one in the memory bank and use that.
Please do.
I love it. I've never heard that quote before. That's amazing.
I don't know where the heck I heard it, but years ago.
I love it. I'm going to be laughing about this one for the rest of the night, chuckling away to myself. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
It means that you don't necessarily have all the answers, but you are confident and willing to find them. And I think that you know that you have to move forward and you keep your eyes straight ahead.
Yeah.
But you know your limits and you know that you have a lot to learn. And I think that once we are comfortable with ourselves, we are truly empowered, right? I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything, but I do feel empowered. And I feel like if I needed that answer, I have a great network, a great support system to get it.
Support systems are certainly key. That's for sure.
Yeah. What
do you like to do when you aren't working?
I don't know what that, no, just kidding. I don't know what not working is like. You know what? I really do love nature. I love to get out. I love to hike and go for walks. Leave my cell phone at home. I don't want to listen to music. I don't want to get a call. I don't want to be worried about Facebook. I like to really detach myself, go for a bike ride. And then I go and sit outside sometimes with my chickens. I talk to them. They listen. We enjoy each other's company.
I can just see you there talking to the chickens.
Yeah,
I can picture it in my head.
Yeah. I do. I like to get out and do things. But I'm also, hand in hand with that is I do a lot of house projects. So I'll go outside and on the patio and I'll refinish a table or some furniture. I love to get outside and do projects like that. I don't like to be cooped up at my computer. That's
no pun intended there, cooped up.
Very funny. I didn't even do that on purpose.
See, there you go.
Yeah, I don't like to be inside and literally cooped up. So I do like to get outside, and anything that can get me out, I'm game for.
What would you say is one tip you have for making, or one idea you have for making the world a better place?
One idea you have for making the world a better place.
One tip.
You know what? I think remembering that when you meet somebody, you don't know what's going on in their life. And so one tip I would say is just, treat everybody like you may not be necessarily getting them on their best day. So treat everybody like they are the nicest person and the most genuine person, but maybe they have some stuff going on, and keep that in mind when you meet people. And I think that goes hand in hand with just accepting people and, not judging a book by its cover, which is pretty topical right now.
Yes, for sure. For sure. What is your personal motto?
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Go for it. Throw all inhibitions to the side and just do it. Just go for it.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it. I think so often, and again, I've fallen victim to this, and just half-ass stuff. But I think if you want to do something, just do it. Don't be scared. Don't half-ass it. Don't wonder if, just do it. Because the worst thing that you think could happen is probably never going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
But see, this again speaks to that fear factor, as well as getting the fuck out of our own heads and allowing ourselves to do it, giving ourselves the permission.
Yeah. Yeah. And guess what? I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is our allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission, because in the real world, there'd be nobody that's restricting whatever we want to do.
That's
right. It's really only our permission, quote unquote, that we feel we need to give ourselves.
Yep, for sure. What do you feel most grateful for in your life?
You know what? Our well-being. Especially given, COVID and everything, our well-being for sure. I'm very fortunate. My family, my friends at this moment in time, we're all good. We all feel good. We all have our minds still. And so, I wake up every day. I thank God that I have woken up.
Okay. Woke up on the green side of the grass.
Sometimes. Sometimes I don't, but I still wake up.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Crazy. No. Energetic.
Energetic. Money or fame?
Fame.
Early bird or sorry?
No, I was going to follow up. No. Fame.
Oh, go for it. No, go ahead.
Do I feel like I have to tell you why? I feel like it's not in a selfish way, but then I would have a platform to do what I want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, but don't you think? I asked this question of a lot of my guests, and most of them lean towards the money and not the fame aspect, because they think that with money you can do a lot more, and you don't need that platform to do it. You can do it anonymously with money, and you can do a lot more with that than you can with fame.
I feel like if you have a platform, you can make the money.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
What makes you smile?
My husband.
What gives you motivation to keep going?
Caffeine. No, just kidding. The people. I think we kind of touched on this earlier. The people. Watching people and the positive outcomes that they can have is great.
If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Probably just simply Jessica, because I think I'm a unique character.
Simply Jessica or just Jessica?
Jessica. Oh, Simply Jessica could be fun.
Yeah, there you go.
But Jessica.
Okay. I just had to ask. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Start earlier. Mm-hmm.
What does the word success mean to you?
It means that I'm doing what I love to do. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it comes with a paycheck. I think a lot of people equate money to success, but it comes with feeling fulfilled in my life and doing what I want to do.
And lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what do you think that last 30 seconds would sound like? It
would sound like life's too short. Make a good meal, pour a glass of wine, and I guess just to reiterate what we've already said, get the fuck out of your own way.
That's a great ending. Thank you so much, Jessica, for agreeing to be part of this and share your journey and your story and some of your insights and just be here with me today and just share. It's been such an inspiring, funny, humorous, amazing conversation. I've truly enjoyed the experience of chatting with you. I've laughed and it's just been so much fun.
Yeah, likewise. I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest has been Jessic DeLuise. She is a physician assistant, a certified culinary medicine specialist, and an on-air food and lifestyle expert. Thank you, Jessica, and it's been a pleasure. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.